morning. Thousands of food critics across the nation are constantly researching and discovering that the lunch meat in school cafeterias is both unhealthy and inadequate to serve to students. The USDA, a government branch that currently supplies the majority of the school cafeterias with inhumanely processed meats, is both being criticized and needs to change its ways. This means that the meat a majority of the students in America are consuming is both unhealthy for them and inadequate, thus possibly resulting in the animals' current suffering, prolonged suffering, its painful death, or even the chance of hormones and chemical preservatives being present in the product. Being a vegetarian, I obviously feel very strongly about the elimination of inhumanely processed meats from our society in general. So a simple solution to the problem at hand would be for the USDA to purchase solely humanely processed meats for our schools. So if the USDA was to purchase humanely processed meats for our schools, then we would not only be standing up for animal rights, but also keeping our students healthy, as well as staying within the human and moral boundaries when it comes to the usage of animals. A well-known journalist in the Washington Post stated, "If animals cannot represent or vocalize their case, cannot comprehend, are morally innocent and blameless, and not least of all, are largely vulnerable, defenseless to us." Applying this to the current way that meat is processed for our schools, it is completely unfair to the animals. The quality of their lives is not chosen by them, but in fact it is chosen by us. Whether they are butchered humanely or inhumanely, it is not their decision, but it is ours. The World Watch says, more companies around the world are changing their farm animal confinement policies, therefore trying to better the conditions that animals are currently living in. A simple meal costs an animal its life, so why not try to better their living conditions in the time in which they are still allowed to live? If the USDA was to purchase solely humanely processed meats for our schools, it would greatly help to prevent animal suffering and also improve the quality of their lives. Health and the inhumane process by which we obtain our meat go hand in hand. Again, the World Watch states, a time when 73% of animals and their diseases originate in animal farms. And so placing farm animals in close contact has led to various human diseases and bacterial resistances, which is terrible for us. Harsh living environments and treatments cause many diseases to emerge in animals, and often the ones that we, unfortunately, are forced to consume. The USA Today's article, the senator is forcing the U.S.'s schools to look at their meat more carefully, goes into great detail about the inhumane processes that put the animals through. Unfortunately, they are injecting hormones and chemically processed preservatives into the animals, and scientists are discovering that as a result of these hormones, humans are starting to go through puberty extremely early. I'm talking as early as the age of 6. It's a huge problem, and the chemical preservatives are starting to make certain diseases arise, as well as bacterial infections. Ben Block, a reporter from the World Watch, conducted an experiment on the inhumanely processed meats as well as humanely processed meats. He found there to be a significant difference between the two. Humanely processed meats had no chemical preservatives as well as no hormones. It's way healthier. The inhumanely processed meat was full of chemical preservatives, things that can harm us. So, my question to you is, why doesn't the USDA purchase humanely processed meats for just a few extra dollars that will help to benefit us and put an end to the diseases? Finally, human morals and boundaries play a huge role in the distribution of inhumanely processed meats to our society. An anonymous author from the Washington Post stated, despite 30 years of researching and discovering about animal ethics, only recently have I grasped the importance emotionally and physically to animal ethics. This means that more and more people are doing research on animals and their ethics and human morals in our boundaries. For instance, how can you put an animal through a torturous process, an inhumane process, when you know that their nervous systems feel practically the same amount of pain that ours do? It makes no sense. Or on top of that, taking an animal's life, their innocent life, just for benefiting ours slightly, nutrition-wise. In my opinion, it is unethical, immoral, and not of rectitude. There is a serious lack of empathy towards the animals from the people that butcher them inhumanely. They do not recognize our thoughts, our rights, or our boundaries. If the USDA was to purchase exclusively humanely processed meats for our schools, the issue of moral correctness would be of no more in terms of what we eat. The preservation of animal rights, the maintaining of students' health, and finally, the conservation of morals and human boundaries are all achievable goals if the USDA purchases humanely processed meats for our school. Animals would suffer less. Students would become, or stay at least, more healthy, and our judgment would not be questioned on the quality of our meat that we consume or how that meat was obtained. We should all be looking to purchase humanely processed meats, as well as making our eyes stay open for the current statuses and roles of animals in the meat industry. All animals deserve better than this, and if we try hard enough, we can help to better their living conditions as well as the quality of our lives. Thank you.